We start with your laughter. Oh my god.
Nah,
Hello and welcome to season 8 BLT Power
nah,
Rankings.
nah,
I
nah,
am
nah, nah.
joined
You
here.
can't fucking do that, you bitch.
No, I am joined here with my boy. You can say hi.
Fucking hello, it is Davey. I fucking hate you. You little prick.
I promised him a countdown and I didn't give him one, and he just started laughing. I don't know why. I didn't even say
Fuck
anything,
off.
so it's kind of good timing that we started off with that.
You
Anyway,
are a bitch.
anyways, I'll just
Fuck
go
it
on by
up.
saying that this is our opinion. This has nothing to do with your skill level. You know, as
Mm-hmm,
all
mm-hmm.
power rankings are, they're just your team, not you. So don't be
Nah,
mad at us if
friend
you
of
win the season and
shit.
you're 16th. You had
Mm.
something to say?
Oh no, 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 nothing at all.
Okay, well
Except
I'll
if you
just
end up at the bottom, you're garbage.
what?
Nah.
Man, just
If you
talk.
end up at 16th, you are shit.
If you're under 16, you're shit. What the fuck?
I meant to say if you are 16, you fucking buffoon.
Oh, what the? That's so toxic, man.
Eh,
Wait, you're
it's fine.
16.
Yo, shut up.
Anyways, well, this is a power rankings. We'll move on. Okay, so it's no surprise that 16th is Adrian.
Yeah, this team is just dysfunctional. What am like? This team has nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we were looking at it, we were like, okay, you drafted toward T Toxapex Curum. Okay. What happened? Where'd they go? Where did your good
Why
team
did
go? What happened to it?
why did every good mall in this team go?
Yeah,
Why
this
is
team
the
is literally 6
why is
by
there a
Pikachu.
flaw just here?
Yeah, okay, so first of all, this team is looks like it wants to be offensive, but it isn't.
Yeah, this team is like half HO, half stall, but like, it's not gonna work
Yeah, because
because
like if you think of it like this way, right? Like if you look at all your walls, they won't kill your momentum. None of your walls have any form of pivoting moves at all. So if you just go into talk specs, your momentum is gone.
well, yeah. Going to fucking like first. The other thing is like you have Toxapex, Florges, and Registeel. Okay, but then you have Carkol and Gerda. You can't just rely on 3 months to do all the defensive work and never when all of them hate taunt and you can't like if anything good with taunt comes in, you just have to bring in something else.
Yeah, like
Like
what the fuck are you gonna do? Like you're gonna just sit there and mental herb all your Pokemon? Like put mental herb on them? Now let me tell you something, Adrian. That ain't gonna work because they're just gonna click taunt again.
probably yeah. I don't know. This just doesn't work. You have no momentum for the offensive mons. You have no momentum for your pivots. You have like nothing to be able to take like taunt. You have no good switch ins to electrics. Like Latios and Mega Man Electric just don't count, dude. Like they just don't.
Yeah,
Those two mons do not count.
the funniest part
Objective.
about this is that your momentum is a fucking Mega Manectric.
Yeah.
You're aware that this is no hidden power leak, right? Because that thing doesn't get a hidden power
Fuck
move.
no, no.
So that's a
I
regular
fuck.
Mega Manectric you have there. Like,
Yeah, dude. Just it's fine. Gets switched in on by every ground type in the game. Has to pray that they can pivot into Kartana and not die. What do you mean? What I don't see an issue with this.
yeah, that's a
I see
fantastic
no
team.
problem.
Except, no, it isn't. It's literally 6-0 by Pikachu. Where's your ground type? Where did your ground type go, dude? What happened?
Oh yeah, I forgot that this team had a Diggersby before, and then it just didn't.
Yeah, and then it just didn't anymore. I mean, Diggersby wouldn't have helped him, to be fair. Like, the team
It
would
wouldn't
have
have helped much,
still.
but at least it was a ground type, and at least it had U-turn. At least it's something.
At least, I mean, that is true. At least it was something.
But nope. Nah, let's get Obstagoon. Even though there is basically no benefit to having Obstagoon.
For real, dude.
There,
It's literally like,
there was,
no, go on.
for fuck's sake.
Just go on, bro.
Nah, you go. For fuck's sake.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say your team is hazard rig as fuck because your removal is a Florges, Karkle or Girder. Girder and Karkle is never coming, and if you're bringing them, you're trolling. A Florges doesn't want to bring defog, and Kartana and Latios hates using defog.
Nah, bro, what do you mean? Just bring that defensive Katana every week.
Oh, true. That's gonna be your grass resist. My Rillaboom check?
Yeah.
Kartana.
Yeah. What?
That's the
What's your
best.
check
That's
to-
my favorite Rillaboom check.
What's your check to Excadrill? Oh, it's Katana. I see no issue with this. I see no issue with this.
No,
This
there is
works
still
fine.
issues. What do you mean? Also,
Nah,
I just
for
want to
real,
say, your whole defensive core is weak to ground types.
Yeah.
You're only switching
Yeah.
against Latios.
This team has no ground resist. It's just Latios and click knockoff. Click knock.
Your team will get fucked by knockoff. That is true.
Yeah.
Like, Adrian, I don't know what you tried to do with this team, but it isn't it. And yes, we know you make transactions, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no. Fuck you.
Yeah,
You did it after Grace. Fuck you.
Yeah, you
This
did
is the team
that.
you
You did that. That's a week 2 thing.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to know. I want to try and pick the mind of Adrian for a little bit. Like, what the fuck were you thinking when you decided to drop all the cool ones and just give them away? What was the point? What were you?
I think the entire point was just to boost Charles's draft. No offense, but that seems like the only reason. There is no justifiable reason to do that.
Yeah, for
Like, if
real,
you
dude.
think-
Well, what are
you
you? Are
thinking
you
of your
are you guys
own
dating?
draft? No. What the fuck?
No, I mean Charles and Adrian.
Oh yeah. To be honest, I could see it.
Yeah,
I can
Charles
see
is married. Are you
Exactly,
the
right.
person he's married to?
Yeah. What do you mean? This is like a my wife's boyfriend situation.
Yeah, for real. Like, what the fuck is going on here, dog? All right. Anyhow, we'll move on
Next team.
to 15th,
Ah,
which is D.
yo.
Well, we know this is your first time drafting, and we can tell.
I know. I kind of feel bad saying this team is the second worst, but also wheel pick and you took a Volcanion Mega Altari. Like, I get that people say you should draft cause, but like it's not that important. You don't need to draft those 2 mons first thing. That's not the way to go.
Yeah, because like I mean, you can see that there's no high tier mons on this draft. Like, there's no like
there's-
18, 17 pointer on this. I think your highest tier is literally Conkeldurr, which is 14.
Oh, it is Conkeldurr. Yeah, 14.
Yeah, you have a bunch of mons that are 14, but nothing above, and that is like,
Yeah.
really bad.
It's like there is no mon where you look at this team and you're like, okay, that's like the centerpiece mon. That's the best mon in this draft. There's nothing. There just isn't.
Yeah, there really
Like-
isn't. Like, your team is just a bunch of mons.
Yeah.
I will say though that you drafted like a Trick Room type team. Like, you can
Yeah.
see that there's Trick Room on this team. Like, you can tell.
Yeah. Dustnoir, Uxie, Escav, Conk. That's not bad. That's like not a bad Trick Room core at all, but I don't know. It's not like everything on this team was built for Trick Room, and it's not like it's not like having no fast mons isn't gonna have its issues. It's still gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
There's also just a random Whimsicott here.
Yeah. Also, your team is slow for a Trick Room team. It's not even the
Even
fact
the-
that your team is a Trick Room team, because you have options outside of Trick Room, but your
Like,
Trick Room
the best-
core is like really low tier.
Yeah. The best option for Trick Room is probably Escav, just because it's so slow. It's base 20. So, like, that's probably the best option, because Conk is 45, and Conk can be undersped
Yeah.
very easily.
Like, I don't know if you were trying to... Like, I don't know if you're trying to draft a full Trick Room team or not, but if you were, this is not the way to go.
The thing is, this team just feels like there was no direction with where they were trying to build something. They were not trying to go for anything specific. They're just picking mons. Like, that's it. It's just picking mons.
Yeah, which is, I mean,
Like-
I guess I sort of did the same for my first draft too. Like, I was
My
sort of
first
just picking mons to pick them. Like, I had a random Venusaur and a Sorora on the same team. There was no Sun, by the way. I just had a Venusaur because I like Venusaur. Like that's
No.
what right. Like I feel like that's sort of like the situation you're in right now.
Yeah, this is that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it's the first draft kind of thing where you don't really know what you want to do and you don't really have any idea of what you should draft. So you just pick ones you like and hope it goes well.
Yeah,
But
this is definitely something that'll come in time though. You like understand
yeah, yeah.
that you need speed tiers. For example, like your fastest mon is Yuxi. I know there's a Whimsicott right there, but that's usually a Prankster mon, and you're gonna find that that will run Prankster and like no speed.
Yeah.
And
The other
Yuxi
thing
isn't
is
even that
like,
good for speed. So Moltres Galar is
mm,
technically your fastest.
pretty much, yeah. And also like the hazard, no offense, but the hazard game on this team is really bad as well. Like obviously that's another kind of first time thing, but there is what, two, maybe three stealth rockers,
Yeah,
and
there's
you're only realistically clicking with Yuxi because you're not bringing Golem and Mama Swine isn't clicking rocks.
yeah. That
So
one was
like,
just buttons.
and then the defoggers is slightly better because you've got Mega Altari and that's pretty reliable. But then it's that Whimsicott and Conk, which is like you don't want to bring defog on Conk and you don't really want to bring Whimsicott period. So you're kind of stuck with clicking it on Mega Alt, and Mega Alt really likes having move slots.
Yeah,
So
Volcanion also
mm,
though. I will say Volcanion, like if you want like
oh,
a boost,
true,
Volcanion
Volcanion
can
does.
also
I forget about Volcanion, to be honest. I never see that one.
for it. I just want to say
You
your
never.
team is super bad momentum.
Oh yeah, it's Yuxi, Whimsicott, Toxin. That's it, and I guess Moltres, but whatever. Again, probably
Yeah,
not coming
because
most
like
games.
again, like Whimsicott, like Davey said, like you will never bring. You don't want to bring Whimsicott because it's just bad.
Hmm.
And with this sort of team, like where your team is trying to be slow, you don't really want to.
You don't
Unless
want to
you're
bring
trying to do
Whimsicott. You
Tailwind
want to bring.
strats.
I don't know. That's a bit. Tailwind is very unreliable though,
It really
because at
fucking is.
most you pop Tailwind, you immediately waste one turn. Then you have to switch. Then you have to switch out. It's the same exact problem Trick Room has, but with Tailwind, it's like even worse.
Yeah, because there's one less turn.
Yeah, you have to U-turn out, and then you have what, you have maybe 1-2 turns to work with on Mama Swine or some Conk or something. And sure, they're good, but like it's not like those two mons are unwallable. Like if your opponent has a fucking Slow King, they just switch in and then, oh, you have Tox? Okay, go into like something else. Like
Yeah,
this team is like not. It's annoying to switch into, but it's not impossible by any stretch. And it's like you can't get things in right. Like get it. If you run Tailwind, you have one turn to work with realistically, and if you run Trick Room, Tox and Mammoth Swine just don't work. So,
yeah, like the team feels like there's little synergy, and it's just like
mm-hmm,
weird picks overall. Because
mm-hmm.
like even though you had the trick room and it looks like the trick room can work, you have a bunch of mons that hate trick room.
Yeah,
Only like two mons appreciate it theoretically. On your team appreciate the trick room here, and
you can
also
make an argument for Golem, but like Golem is so bad, you would never
Golem is
run it
like
anyway.
that's a huge stretch to say Golem.
Yeah, like it would kind of appreciate Trick Room if you ever actually brought it, but you just wouldn't bring it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
You
because
wouldn't
it's
bring
a
Golem.
fucking Golem.
Exactly.
Also, it should also be said that for a first time draft, you have no weaknesses. Like there's no mon that there's no singular typing that'll just go ham on you, which is good for a first draft.
True, true.
That is really good because like I can't think of a singular typing that will just come in and click a button and kill something every time. So yeah, that's pretty good on you for your first ever draft. So props to you for that. But we'll move on to 14th, which is our boy Cobra.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This team, I think it's pretty obvious to say, but this team went off the rails when you picked Ordino.
It really fucking did.
Like, no offense, but you had two really good first 2 round picks. Coco and Gliscor is really fucking good, and then you pick Ordino and just completely like kill off any chance that this had of being really good.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't get the Audino third pick.
like I don't know. I assume this was just a meme pick, right? Because there's no real reason you would take this thing third round.
There
whatsoever.
really isn't. Like,
Like
I
even
get my league has it
yeah,
at like low points because it's like 4 points for Adino or something like that.
true, but like every league has Audino at like 4 points.
Yeah, every league has Adino at really low. Like,
And the
the
thing
mod
is,
isn't that good.
like okay, even if this was like a backup of a backup of a backup, at that point, just pick something else. Like just pick a different mon. Like
Chansey, Blissey, they're all up.
yeah, you didn't. You don't need a wish passer that badly. You especially don't need a normal type one that badly. Especially since you drafted Silvally right after this. You could just have picked like anything else. Umbreon, Vaporeon, whatever. If you really want a wish passer, get something else that at least fits.
Yeah, if it's
Maybe
a
keeps
wish passer
momentum.
you want, like, right? Like, what are you wish passing to? Your Gliscor or your Triple Coco? They both get recovery.
That's true.
Your current core, unless you had already planned this whole draft out and saw that two of your Pokemon, yes, only two, Metagross and Mokalola, wanted Wish Pass, then sure. But you could have waited. Like, Blissey and
Yeah.
Chansey were still up on the board at this point in time, which are way better Wish
Yeah.
Passers in my opinion.
I mean, it's not even just that. It's like if you want to go less, if you want to go a little bit less passive, or you want to like have like somewhat better momentum or whatever the fuck, you could just go with like an evolution like Vaporeon or Umbreon. If you don't want a normal type or whatever, there were
Yeah.
so many other options. Why did you go with Audino?
Yeah, in
Like,
third pick,
it's
right?
just confusing. It's just confusing. Like okay, I could understand if you got this if you got Mega Slowbro third pick instead and you ended up swapping those two. Okay, sure, this is fine. You probably wouldn't have drafted Mega Slowbro at that point, but still,
Yeah.
assuming this would still be more excusable at that point. It still wouldn't be very. It'd probably still be in the same position because it's not like that great anyway. But it's more understandable. This just makes no sense, and it kind of clearly ruins the draft because it's just fourth and fifth round, and like usually you have better early picks than stuff like Silvally and Metagross. Like Silvally, I think is pretty good, but Metagross is weird.
Metagross is. I will say this right now, a hot take. I think Metagross is super bad.
I think Metagross is a bit of a noob trap, personally. I don't think it's terrible, but like it's okay, but it's very much so the type of mon where you look at it, you think, oh, this is cool. Oh, it's got great, really high stats, and you don't think about the fact that it has no recovery. It's weak to knockoff, and it's really slow. Uh, so like yeah,
Yeah, like
it's okay, but
I do
nah.
also want to say that
You
when it comes to Mega Slowbro, Slowbro was literally up by the time you picked Audino.
yeah, and yeah, there's like no reason to take Mega Bro over
I
regular.
mean,
Like you could
I
have
know he did say that he got sniped with a Mega Blastoise, but
haha L
we
L
have the
ratio.
culprit. We found him.
Yeah.
I also want to
I
say that this team has one breaker. It has one breaker on your team, and that
yeah,
is
it's
Persephone.
yeah, that's kind of yikes.
Your team is
And the
super passive.
the only momentum you have to get that in is Coco, Gliscor, and Zavali, which are good. But then you go into Persephone, you have no momentum. You can try to break something, but if they have something like Blissey or Chansey, which you could have picked, then they just switch in immediately, and you're forced out, and then they can get momentum on you, and yeah, like
Yeah, like your only power is in this Persephone, and this Persephone is your only good Scarfer.
that too.
I will say though, I won't disrespect the Choice Spencer Valley. Choice Spencer Valley can't hit hard, but it only really works in
Can
where you can spam more normal attacks, right?
yeah, because obviously if you're going choice band, you are locked to being severely normal. So
Yeah,
you can only really multi attack.
yeah, normal multi attack. Like where normal multi attack can hurt, I can respect it, but like
That's
your
not.
primary breaker and your primary cleaner is the same Pokemon.
Yeah, unless you want to run like Coco to try and clean with, but Coco's not that strong.
It's really
Like,
not. Like Coco is the best pivoter in the game. It's really good at pivoting, and that's really
it's
it.
good at pivoting, and it doesn't like Coco can get anything in pretty much. Coco can get anything in, but after that point, what do you do? If you
Yeah,
can't take advantage of that very well, like this team could have really done with more breakers or just better breakers, arguably.
yeah, more
Like I
powerful.
don't know, something like no Tarak or something would be good with this.
I don't think you need the Mokalola.
That too. You
You
don't
know
have
what I
anything.
think you
Okay,
need the Slowbro Mega.
you're not like so weak to ghosts that you need to pursue trap things.
No, you have two normal
So
types.
yeah, you have fucking Audino and Silvally, and even then, Audino on its own would probably be fine enough.
Yeah,
If
these are super good
you're
at
really weak to a
all.
Gengar, you just if you're really weak to like a Gengar or something, just bring Audino and you're probably fine. Like,
Yeah, like just put like Choco Berry knockoff.
and then yeah, Mega Burrow is just bad. This mon, it's just regular Slowbro without an item. I'm sorry, but it is.
It really is. You don't want
Like
to Mega it.
the only thing you can do if you do Mega it is run Slack off and then set up.
Yeah, Calm Mind and try and win like that.
Maybe even Calm Mind Eye in defense if you're feeling really spicy, but like, ugh, getting set up on this mon is not that easy.
Yeah. We
Also
also want to
so
say that
easy.
your team is super weak to bulky water types with Toxic, which water types get. So stuff like Toxic Bites, it's just gonna sit on you.
Yep.
You can't
This
switch
the
into
only
it well
answer.
at all. Tapu Koko doesn't want to switch in. Gliscor definitely doesn't. Slowbro, no, it doesn't want to take a Toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like,
you're just gonna get sat on by them.
yeah, this team could definitely be made better if you drop like the Muck, the Mega Slowbro, and the Metagross, and pick up just better
Yeah,
mons that
there's more
can do
offensive
more for
ones because
you.
you already have a bunch of defensive good cores.
Yeah, the Muckalolo especially is just so unnecessary. You could get literally any good breaker for that point for those points. And you can get a decent breaker for like what is it, 10, 11 points. You can get
Yeah,
an okay breaker for that. You don't need Muckalola.
you really don't.
And then Metagross, which is even more like points, which you just don't need to waste on this mon. And Mega Bro does like nothing for you. So again, like I get like everyone wants a bulky water, but Mega Bro is so bad. It's you can get so many better things.
Yeah, if you wanted a bulky water, you should have gone. You could have gone with the Slowbro.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I know you wanted the Mega Blastoise, but that one isn't even that good of a bulky water either.
It isn't that good of a bulky water, and I'll agree though that it would have worked a lot better on this draft. It
It
would
would
have. It
have.
definitely would have. Because it's a decent breaker. Still didn't break bulky waters, so you'd still get absolutely fucked by that. But
Yeah.
it's a bit better with other things that maybe Blacephalon might struggle with. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I can see that, but however, you didn't patch up that weakness in missing the Mega Blastoise very well, and it shows in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to 13th.
Okay.
I literally put 13 third. No, no. Okay, on the
What the
dock.
hell
I have
are
like a dock, right? I have like a dock where I have a bunch of where we have a bunch of notes, and on sixes I put 13 or D. You know how you do with like third place, and I put like
13,
33rd. You know what I'm trying to say here? I'll put it in the video.
I
I'll
know
do
what
it
you're
as like
trying
a
to
little
say.
Easter egg.
I know what you're trying to say, but that's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is what it
That's
is.
just stupid.
Anyways, this is 13th.
Incredible brain power right here.
True, which is 6. Well,
This
my main
team,
problem with this, at least, is that you're bringing the same 6 Pokemon every week.
yeah, this team like it just doesn't have options. The last three Pokemon, arguably last four, completely useless. Like Empoleon maybe comes to one game, but the rest of them are completely useless. You're never bringing them. Noivern is again not that good here. Not like gonna be amazing. You're probably not gonna bring it that often. So you're relying on those first six almost every single week, and one of those is Tapu Bulu.
Yeah, so some Blue is gonna be switched out a lot. I can tell. I don't know why there's an Appleton here. I don't know why there's a
This is
Spiritomb or Togetic here.
this has been my opinion, but I think Tapu Bulu is fucking awful. I think this
It
one is
is.
dog shit.
It is.
Like, it doesn't matter what team you have. It doesn't matter like what team you're against. You bring this thing in, and every single time they always have a switch in, and you can't get kills, and you have to switch it out immediately. And all you've done is get up grassy terrain, which is better for that walls. So like, this
Yeah.
one is so bad. I hate it. I honestly do.
Yeah, you cannot break anything. at all.
Plus, it's your only fairy, and it just does not work offensively as a fairy whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not a good fairy. It doesn't have any
And
fairy
plus,
moves.
it doesn't even work defensively either, because you try to use it to come in on a dragon or whatever, and all you've done is you maybe absorbed one move, okay, but you can't hit it, and it can probably still smash you, so you have to switch out again.
Yeah, because
Like
most dragons gets a poison move, steel move, or a flying move.
fire move,
Or
flying
fire.
too. Yeah. So like, nah, this thing doesn't work. And ignore if you don't have that, you get absolutely steamrolled by dragon spam. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like
the
Empoleon will
only
be your next switch in, which
Mhm.
again struggles with ground. So what, like in theory, what you have to do is you have to get up grassy terrain, just so Empoleon can sit there for like a few turns.
but neither of them can visit. They're both pretty slow, and neither of them like want to stay on the field for too long. So yeah, they're not. They're also like Bulu is kind of offensively threatening, not really, but kind of.
Yeah.
But even then, like Empoleon isn't. You bring in Empoleon, it kills your momentum. You might get up rocks or off it or a defog off. You can't roost. You a free bait for something to switch in on. Like nah. And then the rest of this draft is just like this draft is held together by Mew and nothing else.
Yeah, it
Like for
really
real.
is. Mew is like the glue piece of this draft, for real.
You have to bring this thing every week, and Mew is really good, right? Mew is really good, but Mew can't do everything, and this team needs Mew to do everything. Like
It really does. Like,
this team needs Mew to pivot. This team needs Mew to remove hazards. This team needs Mew to fucking be a wall. This team needs Mew to be offensive sometimes because it can't break through certain things. Like, bruh.
like another issue I have with this draft is that not only is it super hyper offensive, which I don't think is very good in draft. I don't think like hyper offensive styles are very good because if your breakers can't break, you sort of just auto lose
Mm-hmm.
because you have no wall, you have no defensive win con,
Yep.
and
No backbone.
and basically right, like but most of your mons like Lopunny, Darmg, Rotom He, and Tapu Bulu will run the same fucking set every single week because
Yep.
they have no other
And
options.
yeah, especially Dom G. Like, I get it. I get this mon is tempting because oh, it can run two choice bands. Haha. Like, no. It doesn't matter that it can run two choice bands because it's got 95 speed. So if you run double choice band, you're too slow. If you run choice band and scarf because haha funny, well, you're still switched in on by bulky waters. You still can't change up moves ever because you're always relying on being choiced, and you can never, literally never use anything like anything else with this. It doesn't work to switch into other things. The only good point is that you can pivot into like what Megalopony maybe or Rotom Heat, and that's it. Like
Yeah,
you use this thing to pivot, and it costs a load of points, and it doesn't break that well for what it is. Like it does not work here either because you have no. The only defensive pivots arguably is Nidoqueen and Rotom and kind of Mew, because you kind of have to run Mew defensively like every single game. But
yeah,
Nidoqueen wants to go offensive. Rotom Heat isn't going to take everything that Domji is weak to because Domji is weak to so much different shit, and it takes like so much damage so easily. And Nidoqueen is unreliable defensively because it has no recovery. So you end up relying on Mew again, which yeah,
yeah. Like
this
that's
team
honestly
also
all
hates
there is to really be said about this team because it's like weak defensively. It has very little way of actually breaking good defensive teams because most of your mons are
Mhm.
one dimensional and they can be prepped for.
Mhm.
And Mew is gonna have to win you every game. I don't know how you're
Yeah.
gonna get that to work, but I wish you good luck.
Yeah.
And I'm
Good
gonna
luck.
just move on to 12th.
Whoa, this
Woo!
is funny.
Ooh,
Oh
LaFunny.
my god.
LaFunny Scott.
Yeah. This team, I don't know. It's a bit strange to look to see like a team like this. It's just weird.
I mean, the first thing that should be said about this team is that it has great defensive core, right?
It does have a pretty good defensive call. It
Yeah,
does.
and like, yeah, Scizor, which is fantastic. It's one of the best steel types. Scizor round one was maybe a little bit too much. Tapu Fini,
True.
which is pretty good. I don't like Tapu Fini myself because I personally can never get it to work. because usually like fire types will have options to deal with it, but you have Latias to also help. So you're honestly just set
The
in
main
defense.
the main benefit is like because obviously it can't scissor can't be burned, right? Like that's the main benefit, and obviously it can't be toxic. Then your other walls can't be toxic, but eh,
I mean, they can. Latias still can.
Latias still can, but Gligar can't. But that's not because of the terrain. That's because it has immunity,
Yeah.
you know. And then that's about it. It's just four really strong defensive mons, really.
Yeah. Then well,
And
no. Go
it
on.
feels like this draft is kind of trying to be offensive after that. Like, you have fucking Scizor, Tapu Fini, Latias, and Gligar, and then Cinderace, Jolteon, Mega Absol, Mienshao, Nihilego, Tauros, like, mm, I
Like
don't
your
know.
main breaker is Mienshao with Reckless, high jump kick.
And obviously, Mienshao with Reckless High Jump Kick is kind of obvious, and after you click that once, they're just always gonna know that that's set. Like, you can't really use that often because it's predictable. It's really predictable,
Yeah.
especially if since it's the only really good breaker you have. Because then people are just gonna run protect.
Yeah, people are gonna run like protect on two other mons, and you're gonna struggle because like
Yeah.
most of you don't have a lot of power on your draft. Like
Mm-hmm.
Nike Lego isn't that good because
Mm-hmm.
it's wallable really easily. It's really easily wallable.
Yep.
Cinderace, it's okay, but again, it's really easily wallable. Tauros, it doesn't work. You have to really for Tauros to work, you have to get it in, and you have to make it work. You have to build your team to make Tauros work.
Taurus is like a team you really have to play and build around it. Because if you don't, it's just you won't be able to get it in the right position when you want to, typically. So you really need to take advantage of mistakes pretty much with Tauros.
Yeah, like using U-turn and momentum based to get it in and try and click a button. Not only that, Taurus wants to predict a lot. Like it want to use prediction moves, like want to predict with Fire Blast and Ice Beam and all of that.
Yeah, and like you said, that's the other problem. It has usually Tauros isn't so easy to run because it needs like I don't know. Sometimes it needs Ice Beam, sometimes it needs Fire Blast, like, and then you have to run special, and then you have to run like on mixed or whatever, and you have to put EVs in the special attack, which you just don't want to do because you lose power, and then it's even harder to play around Tauros and blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's some MUs that just becomes impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Like so Taurus isn't reliable enough. So your team has really good way of cleaning games. Like it has Latios, which again can run offensive. Scizor can run offensive. Mienshao can clean the scarf. Cinderace can clean easily. Jolteon, Mega Absol, right? These are all good cleaners, but you have no real good way of breaking games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The other thing is your main way of dealing with bulky waters, other than just like stalling, is Jolteon. And no offense, but Jolteon's kind of ass.
Yeah, it is kind of ass. You can switch in Rosalia and get up spikes and use it that way, but what you do after,
You
right?
don't want to be bringing Roselia in the first place. If you do, you know a matchup is rough.
Hey, bro,
If you're
Rosalia's
bringing
kind of
Roselia,
goaded.
it's okay. Like for the points, it's decent. It's
Yeah,
very decent, and it kind of works here a little bit. But again, if you're bringing Roselia, it's not a good matchup, and you know it's not.
yeah, like yeah. Usually, you want to have a higher tier grass. Because,
Yeah.
like, when I was, like, I had Rosalia last season, right? And I found myself that I want to rely on it way too much. Because it was, like, I had, like, a hole. And my team was super weak to electric without it.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying your team is weak to electric, but if you find yourself relying on Rosalia a lot, that's a problem.
Yeah. You don't want to rely on low tiers, and especially not like stuff like Roselia, because obviously then if plus the other thing is like I said, if you bring it, it's probably a bad matchup, and if you're facing bad matchup after bad matchup, then the draft's probably not that good, you know.
Yeah. So,
If you're playing a bunch of bad matchups in a row, then yeah.
so just overall, I'd recommend more power on this. Like, even though
Mm-hmm.
you have power, just have a bunch of good cleaners.
Yeah, I
Like
would recommend like
you could
you could
easily
drop
take
Mega
off
Absol.
Nihilego on this.
You could drop like Mega Absol and Heligo for something for just some meta stuff. easily.
Yeah, Miss Maggie is too, because you don't really
Oh yeah.
need that.
This Maggie is just so random. I don't even know why that's there.
Yeah,
It's no real point.
it feels really random. You're never bringing
That's
that.
just like that's literally just I have a few points left. I'm just gonna pick a mon I like. Like that's all
Yeah,
that is.
yeah,
Or
it
like
really
I
is.
don't know. You wanted a ghost.
Yeah. So I recommend doing that actually, combining
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
taking points from a few different mons and just getting something better.
yeah. But yeah, we'll move on to 11th, which is
Mm-hmm.
our boy Wiki.
Hang on, did you just say from 13th to 11th? Or was that?
No, 13 was sixes, and then we have 12
Oh,
for Scott.
yeah,
11
right.
to Vicky.
I'm numbers,
Yeah,
Forgetting.
yeah, because well, Davey's on an iPad, so he can only see.
Oh, fuck.
He doesn't have the notes.
Yeah,
He doesn't have he doesn't know which spot we're on, so I gotta say it.
it is what it is.
It's the budget solution, and it works great.
Yeah, of course, of
So you
course.
can only see the stream. Okay. Anyways,
This team is literally, again, just another team of 6 mons do everything.
yeah,
Like,
it really is.
even more so than the last one, because there are like 5 mons here that do fucking nothing. I
Yeah,
refuse to acknowledge that Spectre is even a Pokemon, dude. That thing is useless.
yeah, it
That
really
thing
fucking is.
is
Spectrier is like you're wasting points.
yeah. Like, okay, you can kind of maybe make an argument for Celebi if you want to be even more U-turn weak. But, like, okay, you don't want to bring Celebi. You don't want to bring Celebi because it's so U-turn weak and you hate. This team already doesn't really like knockoff. And then you have Spectria, which is just a waste of, like, 14 points. And then 3 mons that are never coming and never doing anything.
Yeah.
So you're always bringing the same shit, and, like, okay. Pangoro has a lot of options, but Pangoro is, like, almost always, like, trace banded.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Zapdos is pretty much always going to be defensive here because you need it to be. Fucking Prim, I don't even know what you're going to do with that thing. Like, probably try to go Specs or something, or maybe Bulky, but Arcanine is almost always the same set. It always runs Boots, it always runs Morning Sun, it always runs Teleport.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh,
Like, your team starts off really well, technically, with like the first 5, and then it picks a random Cinccino, and then you have a Klefki.
Yeah, and the draft basically ends at Klefki. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason to even think of anything beyond that point because the rest of them are just not going to come, or if they do, that's good for you probably.
Yeah, it's like right on in electric matchups where you're really electric weak, I guess. Or
Yeah.
Celebi, but it's like Celebi's like
Again,
super
like,
ass, and you're gonna find that out.
yeah.
Because if the electric attacks
And
click Volt Switch, they can get in a fast U-turner, and they will just click U-turn for free.
the other issue with this team is like it's really reliant on mons that need boots for defensive stuff. Other than Klefki, obviously, but like Klefki has no recovery. Klefki's not gonna sit there forever. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's gonna
decent
die.
bulky, but not. It's gonna die. And then you have Prim, which has no recovery, and it's not that bulky in the first place, so it's gonna die. And then you're reliant on 2 mons that have boot, that always run boots, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
And like, I don't know. This team just doesn't appreciate knockoff for that reason, because you need the defensive walls to have boots, and you need to be really good about defogging with Klefki and Zapdos, which is I don't know. I think this team will definitely struggle because it's just too predictable. Like that's it.
Yeah, and like your team is like super Edgequake weak as well. Like
Mm,
Earthquake already goes ham on you, and when Celebi and Zapdos is your only switch in, it's clear that putting Edgequake would
that
literally
is
fuck
free.
you up.
That is so free. Like especially as well because again, earthquake and knockoff. There you go. That's all. That's all. That's all you need. That's all you need for this.
Earthquake
Also,
knockoff stuff rocks.
I'm gonna point out that we've completely ignored the Mega Gallade so far, but honestly, like, there's nothing to really get that in other than Zapdos, so it's not that great.
I mean, you know how I feel about Mega Gallade.
Yeah, I know you hate this one, but looking at it from an objective standpoint and looking at it as a good mon, even then, it needs to get in, and it doesn't get in that because it's still predictive, friend. It's still Gallade.
Sorry,
You don't
your
switch in
mic
that
is
easy.
fucking up hard right now.
Ass. Fucking cringe.
You gotta say that again.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I was gonna say, Mega Glade, like even saying it is a good mon, it still needs pivots to get in, and the only one you have is Zapdos. That's it.
Yeah, like for real. Like the biggest issue, of course, is you have Klefki, right? And Klefki sets up screens, and you have no way of
Mhm.
abusing screens. Like if you had just one singular way of abusing screens, you would have been so much better.
I don't think it's like impossible because obviously screens do help Mega Glade get in a little bit easier. They're unreliable, but they do help, and you might be able to get an SD off, or you might be able to do SD Pangoro or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
but
screens have potential options, but you're really kind of stretching it at that point.
yeah, like I think like a better abuser for screens
Mm.
would have helped your team fantastic. Like
Mm-hmm.
it helps out a few mons, but not many.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It's like,
So yeah,
yeah, this
your team is
just
also really ice weak.
it's kind of very weak too. Other than Klefki, obviously, but like,
Oh
mm.
yeah, Fairy is like super free.
'Cause, like,
Fairy
no offense,
goes
but nothing on this team
Basingo.
that threatens.
Hmm?
There's nothing that threatens fairies here. Like, there just isn't. Klefki is not threatening,
Yeah,
and Arcanine is more often than not passive. So, mm.
yeah, like I feel like this team is very Spadef weak, which like is weird to say, but your team doesn't
Yeah,
have a lot of special defense.
yeah, it's kind of weird because obviously, you think Arcanine and Zapdos, but like, nah, they don't switch in that well to stuff to a lot of things. Obviously, when those are the only two defensive pieces, other than Klefki, which it doesn't have recovery yet again. So, eh.
Yeah, I don't see like how your team will like beat out Mega Diancie, for example. And
Yeah.
again, Mega Diancie is another mon that I don't think is that good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming a lot from that's saying a lot.
Yeah. His team is just not that defensively good and really predictable. Like, that's it. Just
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
drop the
We'll move
fucking.
on to 10th.
Alright.
Oh, do you have more to say?
Oh no, I just said drop the Spectrum. That's all.
Yeah, I get get rid of the Spectre like right now. All right. So, 10th
Mm.
is Ninja.
This team's weird. This team's really weird.
This team is super weird. It's another weird Trick Room team.
it kind of is, yeah. Like what? I don't even know what the like. Okay, this is just like the first draft, the first time draft player. I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on here. Like I don't know what I'm looking at really.
No, me neither.
There is there's no aim to this. There was no goal behind building this. It's just again just slapping shit together and hoping it works out.
Yeah, and it sort
Like
of does work out too, which is the weird part.
a little bit, a little bit. But like, why is there a Volcarona? Why? Why do you have that Volcarona? What does it do for this team? It's
Yeah.
just another mon that's rocks weak when your only good defogger is still just the Lando T. Like,
Yeah, you actually only have Lando T to remove rocks, which is a
mm,
good remover, but you don't want to bring defog Lando T every game. I mean, I guess you have
mm-hmm.
Blastoise for spin, which is really good, but that's it, right?
Yeah, but Finn's not that reliable as well. That's the issue.
Yeah, and this is one of the first draft teams I think I've ever seen that is weak to fire.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but there literally is only one fire resist, and that is Blastoise.
Yeah, and
Like,
that is
damn.
no recovery.
I don't think I've ever seen a team in so long that would get actually dunked by Chandelure or Blasef. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, choice backs, boom, click button, get a kill.
Trisbex, click funny button.
Now it should be said that you have revenge kill in Weavile for like
True.
pursuit trapping Blacephalon.
Here's Weavile. But like the Weavile is another really confusing pick. Cause like okay, you have Porygon 2 for Trick Room, you have Mega Ball which can abuse. You have fucking I don't know, Blastoise, Lando T, whatever, Amoonguss, Crabominable, I guess. Why is there a Weavile? Why?
It's kind of just chilling there.
It's like I don't get it. It's just people just like see a decent mon that's high tier, that's left, and they're like, oh, I gotta pick this up. This is gonna fix my draft. Like, no, Weavile doesn't really do much here. Like, mm, What are you gonna do with it? There's nothing on the team other than Lando T that synergizes well with the Weavile.
Yeah, like actually, and your team is also super flying weak as well. I just want to mention that.
Mm-hmm. This team is just really bad defensively, all in all. To be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah, it's
is
a
there?
really weird team. But the fact
It
that
is.
it made it so high says a lot about the other teams.
Yeah, this has a good amount about the teams below. The main draw here is like obviously you've got Mega Mawile and you have a good decent Trick Room option with
Yeah,
Porygon too, and then you have like potential hazard stacking with Dia Speed and you can get it in with Lando T. It's like those like first few options that work well together are like the one thing that make this draft pretty good.
yeah, because
The,
Lando
and
T
the
is
other
like
thing
the
is like
glue piece of this team, right?
yeah. Obviously, ignoring the Nuzleaf, the other options are not like completely terrible. So you can realistically bring them with the good mons here, and you can have some diversity and switch things out. So it's not predictable, like as predictable as the teams before it.
Yeah, because like every mon can come in this game. To be honest, like
Mm-hmm.
even
I
Crabominable,
was,
because that thing like if that thing can click Ice Hammer and it can do
hey,
damage. Like it's
no,
not.
it's a shit mon. It's complete dog shit. But if you get it in Trick Room, maybe.
Yeah, like it's a mon that you can see do work, right? It's like it's not a mon that you're gonna see and go like, nah, this one is never coming. It's a mon that's gonna but if he brings Trick Room, that mon kind of fucks me up, right?
Yeah,
It's one of those mons.
it's still a massive pain in the ass to get in because it's frail and it's got a shit typing defensively, but it's bearable.
And
It's
then
bearable.
again, you're weak to rock.
Yeah, as we said before, the removal here is bad. This team has a bunch of mons that don't really like hazards. So,
Yeah, but when I say
ugh.
rock, I mean like rock span, like Mega Diancie.
I know, I know.
I
Uh,
don't know why I keep bringing up Mega Diancie. I don't even like that mon that much,
yeah,
but
I
it's a
know.
mon that will fuck you.
Yeah, this team is like once again, it's pretty Edgequake weak. The only real argument you have is
It's
Lando
not
T
even
and
Edge Quake.
Blastoise.
It's literally just
But yeah,
rock moves.
true, true. You just don't have you have no rock resist other than Mega Mawile, and you sure okay. Sometimes Mawile can be a good switch in because you want to get that thing in as often as possible. But most rock types, and by most I mean literally all of them, will have Earthquake or will have something to hit Mega Mawile with.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
Mega
not
Mall will
reliable.
usually be slower
Right.
because Trick Room.
Mhm. So if you get red, or if it's just if it just like is I don't know life orb or something and just kills you with EQ after you bring it in, like again you don't have a reliable switch in really.
No, you really don't.
So
So this team, I also just want to say, fuck you for dropping Lando T.
oh yeah, right, okay. I know it's like not important to the BRs, but
Yeah,
dropping Lando T is like the worst thing you can do for this team
yeah.
because Lando T is like the one thing that holds this team together.
This team
In
went
my
from 10th to 15th.
yeah, probably
It
because
really did.
yeah, even though it's just Lando I, which isn't terrible, it's like
Lando I is not what he needs.
Lando I is just a worse version of Lando T. With Sandforce, it's just worse. It's just the same thing but worse.
Yeah,
It's
for
slightly
real.
faster, but being slightly faster doesn't really do much for you because you already have like Volcarona, which is basically the same speed tier. So you don't need that speed tier. You obviously you don't need anything that Lando I specifically has because Lando T has all the same shit. So there was no reason to do that, but you did it anyway, and it kind of just makes the draft worse
Yeah.
because the pivoting is worse, the defense game is worse because you don't have the intimidate anymore. So switching into Stone Edge is even more difficult, and then you don't really have a good pivot. Well, as good of a pivot.
Yeah, you basically fucked it.
Yeah,
Now why'd you
giving
drop
giving
it
them
when
that.
when I asked you for it? You didn't want to give it to me. What the fuck? I asked you like 4 times. Whatever. We're
Uh,
gonna move on to ninth. Ooh,
yeah.
single digits.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go, dude. Well, we have our boy Slick,
Ah,
someone who is new to BLT.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this draft because like it has a decent sand mode. That's the first thing I'll say. The sand mode is pretty decent.
Yeah, I like the sound.
Mega Garchomp is pretty scary with Scale Shot, especially obviously, and Stoutland for the points is actually really, really, really nice.
Yeah, it's like a pretty normal spam, right?
Mm-hmm. Like considering that Stoutland is like what 5 points, maybe less, probably less. Like that's a really decent. That's pretty good value here because it's pretty scary and oh well, it can be in certain matchups at least.
Yeah, like
And then like decent defense with Melmetal and Slowking.
yeah, like Rillaboom is like really helpful on this team too. Like
Oh yeah, I think he said something about it in chat, but like Rillaboom is kind of the glue that holds this team together. Like absolutely.
yeah, it really is. It's like super helpful here with being able to
It's not
just
even it's not even because of the grassy terrain. It's just because pivoting really.
yeah,
Like it's because it's an EQ resist that can pivot.
yeah, it's really helpful. Along with like,
Mm-hmm.
but however, your team will struggle versus defensive steel types. You have
Ah,
no really
true.
way of like
I mean,
stopping that.
well, Mega Garchomp does still exist,
It
but
does exist, but what about these other 7 months, right?
true. Everything else is bad against defensive steals, and then like getting Mega Garchomp in isn't the easiest. And
It
then
really
you
isn't.
have to Mega it, obviously, which makes it slower. And base 100 is like the most common speed tier in the game,
Yeah,
so that's pretty bad. Plus, obviously, a lot of things get ice coverage now. Mega Fairies are very common, and Mega Garchomp hates that, so. Mm.
yeah. Your speed tiers are also really fucking bad.
Yeah, these speed
Comfy
tiers
isn't a
fuck.
speed tier. Mega Garchomp loses its speed.
And then you have Tornadus, which is like
Yeah, it sort of goes from Tornadus to Mega Garchomp, right? And that's like a huge gap.
yeah, pretty much, and
And
that's
like the most
fucking
important range too.
painful. Mm-hmm. Like having that gap of what is it, like 19 speed? That's really easy to take advantage of.
It
Like
really is. There's a lot of
any
admins to be run.
any base 110 gets to run free, like attack boosting. Like base 100s can probably still run like consider run attack boosting. They just like not good,
Yeah,
really not good.
it's really not. However, your team has good defensive.
Oh yeah, it's great defensively though.
Yeah,
Because obviously, Jellicent, Comfey, Melmetal, Slowking G, really, really fat.
yeah, it's a really fat team. It's not.
Mm.
It's not really hyper offensive because again, Rillaboom, like Rillaboom choice band goes funny on ladder, but it doesn't really do
Mm.
that in draft because there's
Yeah,
always a switch into it.
you can never just bring banded Melmetal, or Rillaboom, whatever. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
they usually don't work.
mm-hmm. Like, yeah. There's always switch-ins. People always draft switch-ins to this stuff. Bulky Waters are super common. Melmetal hates that. Bulky flying types like Corvs, Calm, whatever. They're pretty common now, like Mandibuzz as well. Stuff that Rillaboom just doesn't deal with. Obviously, you can pivot, but like, if it is something like Corv, you're just fucked. You can't do anything about that. What are you
Yeah,
gonna bring in? Fucking Colossal?
yeah.
Like, fuck, what is that thing gonna do?
Fire Blast or jump.
Yeah, it's super reliable. It's not even like regular Garchomp where you can run specs and pretend that it's good.
Yeah,
Like Jesus. Ah, this is just I don't know. This
yeah.
is just
Your team is
unfortunate.
also, even though you have grass drain, your team is still weak to ground.
Oh, it's still hella ground weak, and it also doesn't really have the best hazard game.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Like, there's like
The
the
only
removal is
the only
very
hazard
bad.
setting, the removal is bad, and the setting is even worse because it's pretty much just colossal.
Pretty much, and I mean, T-Tar will always get rocks. Let's be fair. It's gonna come
These are can
defensively.
get rocks, yeah, but I don't know. Tita, you definitely will bring rocks with it often, but like I don't know. Tita can be taken advantage of.
Yeah, it's weak to like everything. It's very passive if you
Mhm.
run it like defensively,
Mhm.
which most defensive ones are.
True.
But it's there to just set up sand.
Yeah. You kind of just you bring it in, you get upside, and you click rocks, which Hippo is better at, but someone else drafted Hippo,
Yeah,
so
later than
yeah.
T-Tar though. So
True. So you still could have picked that up, but I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like Tita's okay, but relying on this thing is problematic because Tita always has item problems.
it really
Always has item problems.
does, dude. One run
Because
smooth rock, one run
you,
leftovers.
yep, you want to run smooth rock, you want to run leftover. Sometimes you want to run it defensively because it looks scary, and then it's like, but no, I kind of need to run sand. But, and then you want to run chopper, or you want to run this, or you want to run that, and it's like,
And it's all
I
just
don't know.
annoying.
Because if you run Smooth Rock, you have no recovery. This team doesn't have Wish Pass, so you're not going to get any apart from grassy terrain. So, ugh.
Yeah.
And then T-Tar's just gonna eventually die, or you're gonna get red, or blah blah blah. T-Tar sometimes just needs to take a hit, and if you want to take that hit, you have to run a certain item like Chopple. And then, but if you can't, sometimes you can't run that because you need Smooth Rock for certain things, or you want to run this, or you have to run Lefty so you can deal with this. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
T-Tar almost always is just not quite good enough defensively.
Yeah. Also, all your momentum is on mons that you usually don't want to bring.
Other than Rillaboom.
Other than
Yeah.
Rillaboom, of course. Tornadus, maybe. But Comfey and Passimian, not really.
Like, yeah. And that it's not like this team has even Volt Switch or anything else like Flip Turn or Baton Pass.
Yeah, that's literally
Nothing.
it. That's literally all you have. Also,
Mm-hmm.
I also want to say your team hates Volt Switch. Like, I know you have Mega Garchomp, but like, you don't want to switch that in. Like, on a Coco, do you really want to switch a Garchomp Mega in? Like, yeah, you're
No.
going to switch in Slowking Galar, but then what? I could
Yeah.
Volt Switch. Like, you maybe take no damage, but I get in whatever I want.
And then you can click, I don't know, knock off or something, which makes the walls of this team even worse.
Yeah.
Like,
So
ugh.
yeah, it's a
I
cool
don't know.
sand team. It's a cool sand team with defensive options for sure. Like,
It has a cool sand team, and the defensive options are pretty good. They're just unreliable at times.
yeah,
Like, your best defensive options are Melmetal and Slowking, and Melmetal just does not get health on this team.
yeah, it really
And
doesn't.
everything other than Comfey hates knock. So, ugh.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to
Mhm.
eighth pick, which is Nyx. And I do want to say, I think there's like, I think we've like started to like, there's a tier break.
Yeah, this
From,
is
like,
definitely where this is where it's like there's less pointing out of the bad parts of the draft because there just isn't so much bad stuff
yeah.
to say.
But I do want to say that I hate the two random weather setters you have at the end here. Like,
Oh yeah, like okay, you can kind of make an argument for Torkoal, but you would only ever really want that if you would only ever bring Torkoal on its own if you already had like some decent, Biomon or whatever, or, like Sun Abuser, and it's just not good in the matchup. But Torkoal itself is fine for getting up rocks or spinning
yeah.
or being bulky. But if you start, but having Torkoal on its own is such a waste.
Yeah, because like, okay, here's the thing. Like, if you draft like a small little weather option on your team, right? Like, I did that on a team. Like, yeah, the UDL guys will know, aka Slick. He will know, and also you, because Politoed, Seismitoad. I literally just had a Seismitoad as a defensive wall on my team, and then I decided, okay, my last month, I don't know what to pick. I'll pick a Politoed, get the rain, and it's been fantastic. So, like, if you had, for example, a Venusaur instead of the Rotom Wash, or the Mo, I mean, if you just had that and you had Torkoal, it would have been so much better because you would have that randomness,
Yeah.
right?
And
Because
then the
both
other
those
thing is
mods
like
work.
even then
Yeah,
Vanillux is so useless. Vanillux, you can make an argument if you want to trade something to get like Venusaur or Victory Bell or whatever, because you can still get budgets on abusers.
yeah, like Victory Bell.
But Vanillux is so bad. Vanillux does nothing here.
Yeah, Vanillas can
You are,
spam Blizzard, right? Like, it's scary to switch into spamming Blizzard, but that's it.
and you still don't want to draft it on its own.
Yeah, you could like an Arctozolt would still help. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say drop one or both of these sun like setters for
You
something
could drop
else.
both and get a decent high tier, or you can drop one of them and get a decent abuser for the weather. Like, just don't have both of them. Don't why have both? There's no reason to.
Yeah, it sort of feels weird on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Nyx, you're the reason I have no defog. You're the reason why I was sitting there struggling for defog throughout the whole draft because you took them all.
To be fair, this team doesn't have the best hazard setting. Like,
No, it doesn't.
it has
But it has the best
it has
removal.
really good defog. It has like Weezing G and Corviknight on its own is already great, and then you have Rotom, you have Hydra, and like Torkoal with Spin or Swallow or
Swallow
whatever.
doesn't
Like,
count.
yeah, well, it doesn't count, but it does have defog.
Yeah. Like, bro, come on, man. You didn't have to take all of them.
Yeah, the only you only have 2 Rockers and 2 T-Spikers, and Rune is not gonna click rocks every game because you don't want to bring that shit every game.
Yeah.
You can bring it really fairly often, but like out of the first few, you only really have Hydra and Mega Medi as offense. And while those are really good, they're really good. They're really good breakers. They're not like cleaning mons. And the
Yeah,
only
that's more of
potential cleaning
Swallow.
mon on this
Like
team is
Swallow is
Swallow.
good at cleaning though.
True, but Swallow is also kind of.
It's kind of doo doo,
I
but it can work some matchups.
it can work at some MUs, but I still think Swallow is kind of dog shit.
Yeah, the same for Vanillux. Vanillux can also be used as a breaker, but like, it's not that. It's not the perfect, right? Like again, like
Yeah.
I want to preface this. This is not a bad team, right? I think we're come
Oh
to the
no,
point
it's
of where
not.
the team is like
Like
good. So
yeah,
we're like
yeah.
nitpicking here, right?
Mm. Like obviously this team is fucking really good. You have pretty good defense with just Corviknight and Wheezing G. Rotomo is pretty good too. You have strong offense with Megamedi and Hydra, and you have like pretty decent pivoting with those first five. Like yeah, no, this team doesn't have many flaws. It's just like you know the flaws that does have are just kind of annoying.
Yeah. You're also really electric weak.
That's true. Rodriguez is not viable.
Yeah.
I do. You don't see teams that get dumpstered by Jolteon often, and this is one of them.
This is one
You
of the
never
teams that
see
will
that.
get
This
dumpstered.
is one
Yeah.
of them because they fucking signal beam shadow ball. Let's go.
Let's get it, dude.
Oh
That's the new
no.
meta for real.
Yeah, of course. Like seriously though, why this team should just have anything else? Like you probably could have got Mudsdale or something by the time you picked up Rune, and that does basically the same thing,
Yeah.
but arguably slightly better. So like, yeah.
Yeah.
No. I just think the electric weakness here is just annoying. Like electrics typically aren't that good offensively, so this it's still not going to be like probably that huge of an issue. But for certain matchups, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah. So again, I just want to say this team is good. It has strong breakers, but very weak way of cleaning in my opinion, because it's pretty much only
Mm-hmm.
Swallow and Scarfire Dragon, which is not that great.
Yeah.
So just overall, it's not a bad draft. You can
It's
definitely
not.
do
It's
work with
pretty
it. But we'll move on to seventh, which
good.
is our boy Elucid.
Mm-hmm.
Ye-
This is
This team is
I
a
don't know. This
weird
is
one, right?
really yeah. This is another one where it's pretty top heavy. Like let's get that out of the way. This is quite top heavy. The first six are the ones you want to bring like every game.
Yeah, for like pretty much.
The problem with that though is that the first six, you just like you play anything that play against any mon with freeze dry, and you just get fucked. And then you have to bring like Miltank or Copperajah.
Yeah, you don't want to bring Meltank, right? It's one of the mon that you like, but you don't want to bring it at all.
Yeah, it's like
Because
I
it's a
don't know.
Meltank, right?
It's useful, but it's passive as fuck, and you just don't want to bring it. And then like obviously the offense here is really crazy because you have Excadrill, Mega Charizard, X Thundurus T. Like that's insane offense. That's just really hard to switch into.
Yeah, like even Togekiss.
Mm-hmm. But the issue comes in just getting those mons in. Like you're really kind of relying on Slowbro to get those mons in.
Yeah, pretty much every single game.
Mm-hmm.
And they
And then
don't
you need to be
appreciate like a bunch of your mons. Like I see the sand option, but only Excadrill wants the sand up.
mm-hmm.
The rest of your mons will
Like
take chip.
yeah, Togekiss does not like sand. Fucking Thundurus does not like sand. Slowbro does not like sand. Those ones don't like taking extra chip. And then obviously you need to be really, really careful with rocks. You are pretty much entirely relying on Togekiss because sure Excadrill can spin, and everyone says Excadrill can spin. Sure, it can, but like you don't want to click Rapid Spin with Excadrill. You want to have your four moves.
Yeah. You want
Like
to have
this
the Sword
is
Stance, you want to have the Rock Slide, you want to have the sand, EQ, and you want to have Iron Head.
mm-hmm. Like you don't want to run Rapid Spin pretty much any matchup, but sometimes you just have to
Yeah.
because yeah, like and then obviously knock the boots off the Togekiss or knock the boots off the Slubber, and then hazards are suddenly a really massive problem for this team. because this is another team that kind of falls into playing the same six every game, so it's a bit predictable.
Yeah,
Obviously, in certain matchups, you're probably going to bring Meltank. In certain matchups, you might see Superior, but yeah.
yeah. Like the fact that this team would have to bring Miltank for so many matchups that it doesn't even want to bring Miltank is kind of
hmm
annoying.
And then the other thing is like most of what's holding this team's defensively together is slow, bro. You're really relying on that thing.
Yeah, as a defensive core, just slow,
hmm
bro.
And then it's also like this team hates knockoff because your fairy is Togekiss. Like your fairy is a mon that needs boots desperately. So if it loses boots, all of a sudden you just hate switching around into Togekiss. You hate taking hits. And
Yeah,
obviously,
especially in a
if so,
sand team, right? Because it's gonna take
yeah,
the sand chip and the rocks chip. That's
yeah.
a good 30% every switch in.
And then if it's like toxic or burned, whatever,
Then it's
then it's
literally
like
losing like 40%.
yeah, it's losing like so much health just to switch in that like
Yeah, and you're gonna click
you
a
can't really
roost,
pivot
and
around.
it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. This team defensively is quite weak. Defensively is quite weak.
Yeah, even though you have like a slow bro Hippano Mail Tank in Copper it is quite weak defensively.
Because yeah, you just have a hard time switching into a lot of common stuff,
Yeah.
basically. Steam also like obviously it has Thunderous T, but like bulky waters are kind of annoying here because getting Thundy T in with sand up and probably rocks isn't the best. And
Yeah.
obviously
I mean, I guess
it
you have
might have to take
Serp
a
too,
hit.
but Serp isn't a mon that want to come every game.
Yeah, because obviously it takes up a slot which you want to use for Megazord X. You want to use it for Bro. You want to use it for Togekiss. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then obviously getting Thunderous T in with the only real pivot other than itself being Slowbro
I mean, I
is
guess I have
kind
a
of
Tom Pass
annoying.
Stoicus, right?
I guess, but do you want to run Baton Pass
Not
Togekiss?
often. Not often.
Because you pretty much need defog on it. Like that's not even a question. You need to bring defog on it. You absolutely need Roost. And then what else are you gonna run? You probably want to run Air Slash or maybe the Eaglium on the depending on matchup. And well, probably possibly of other coverage, possibly Toxic, possibly Heal Bell, and then you have to have yeah, and then you have to consider fucking Baton Pass with all that other shit, which is just annoying to build with.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's four move slot syndrome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, your team gets folded by ice, freeze dry in
Yeah,
general, and
yeah.
Miltank will have to come. Like it's gonna be rough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this team is super hard to wall. Like you have the offense
Oh
out
yeah.
Wasu, like straight out.
If you can actually get the offensive breakers in here, then really really easy match. Like if you can get things in, you can get momentum. This team can easily steamroll like a bunch of the other drafts because
Yeah,
just Thunderous T, Excadrill, and Megachar Zardex are just so scary. There is nothing that switches into those 3 months. Like nothing switches into all three of them. Absolutely nothing.
yeah. So I'm just gonna move on to sixth, which is actually
Mhm.
me. Yeah, we
Yep.
didn't cut ourselves out this time because again we're two people.
Yeah. Might as well. Might as well include this.
So yeah, this is
And
the Davy. This is the Davy. Take it away.
yeah. So okay. My main like problem with this draft was like the low tier mons and the defensive core here is just kind of struggle because you don't obviously Clef and Pharaoh and Blissey are very good, but then like Puka, you kind of have to bring Pukamuku kind of often, and that's a bit painful because that mon you hate taunt. This team in general defensively just absolutely despises taunt. And what are you gonna do? You might run rental herb, but that's fucking useless as we said earlier. You can try to switch something in, but like this team is absolutely gonna hate playing against like I don't know some type of bulky water with taunt like Suicune or something. Like that would absolutely destroy this because it can just sit on you forever. You don't have very good pivoting, all things considered. Crobat's decent because it's pretty fast, obviously, and you can kind of get things in, but you don't really want to run a Crobat because, yeah, it's just not very good. Like, it doesn't do much other than pivot and maybe default. Decidueye, I think this one's dog shit. I'm sorry, but that one is ass. The Decidueye is high key ass. Doesn't Might as well not exist. I think offensively it might be okay in some matchups, considering this team's struggle with bulky waters, but defensively, just a yikes. And trying to pivot with it again, just nah. Getting it in is awful. Horrible, horrible Pokemon. And then Victini is like the only good pivot you have, and you need Victini to pivot because you have really strong breakers here with like Crodon, Mega Pinsir, Nidoking, like mons that are just really hard to switch into. Even Victini itself, really annoying things to switch into. Obviously, you can kind of just spam Recreate, or you can U-turn into the Nidoking, and you can like whatever. But none of these mons really want to deal with bulky waters, as I said before. The only argument you can make is maybe Crawdon, because knockoff is still gonna hit like an absolute train. But then you get one hit off for Crawdon, and then you have to switch out.
Yeah, okay.
And
We're gonna end it. We're just gonna stop it out there because this video is about you guys and not me and Davey. So we're gonna move on to fifth, which is fantasy. Yeah. So basically, well, the main issue with this draft is that it literally relies on Terrakion to do everything, and Terrakion fucking sucks, dude. As a breaker, that sucks. It's gonna miss. You're gonna miss the Stone Edge, and you're gonna be pissed that it missed the Stone Edge.
yeah, because obviously you have pretty good cleaners. You've got Mega Scizor and Zeraora. Nothing else needs to be said. Greninja's pretty good too, but those two alone are really good. And obviously your defensive core is strong, but Tarak is just Tarak can really easily be walled, and it's just not that reliable.
Yeah, because you're gonna miss. You're gonna feel the pain of missing Stone Edge, and you know you are.
You don't like bulky water. Like most Suicune, Vipar to an extent. That stuff switches in on it.
Yeah, not choice band, but
not choice band, but yeah.
But yeah, like your team defensively is pretty good. Like you have all the defensive cores, like you have Sister Tangrowth, Matt Moltres, Slowking. Like you got the regen core out the Wasu. Like
yeah.
I will say though, I don't like to type Nolan Clefairy as your normal and fairy type because they will have to come.
Yeah, because you genuinely will probably have to bring like type null at least once, Clefairy maybe once or twice, like, and that's just uncomfortable because you have a lot of way better mons than those, but you're only a ghost switch in. Now you don't even have one. I'm not gonna give Greninja that credit. You don't have another ghost switch in. You just don't. I don't care. Greninja does not deserve that credit. And then fucking Clefairy, like, okay, you can kind of make a case for Mega Scizor, but not really, because obviously most dragons still get fire coverage, as we said before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean you're also really dark weak. It's getting Clefairy. Terrakion can switch into one and get the justified boost. Yeah, we get that, but it cannot switch in many times.
And obviously, Tarak doesn't like knockoff.
Yeah, because it gets knocked off. It's sort of like if you switch in Terrakion, you get knocked off. You lose the choice band, but you get the same boost as choice band, but only once.
Yeah.
You lose your item, and your Terrakion is sort of just weak.
Because it's not fast and it's not strong enough. So yeah. And like obviously the bulky mons, other than Mega Scizor, you don't want to switch anything in the knockoff. Like at all.
And it's like your team is just dark weak. Because again, Clefairy, you don't want to bring them on. You don't want to bring Clefairy because you have so much better mons.
Yep. There isn't much else that's bad about this though. Like offensively, it's pretty strong. Good pivots. Really, probably the best pivoting we've seen so far.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I would say pretty decent, honestly. Pretty good draft. Just I don't like the obviously type null and Clefairy and the knockoff weakness. Just annoying things.
Yeah, you're also sort of weak to flying as well. Like, so Aurora can switch in, but it's not that great.
Yeah, Zeraora is like uncomfortable to switch in because pretty much every flying type ever gets other coverage than just you're not always clicking Brave Bird. I don't know, if it was Staraptor or Zapdos G or whatever, you can just click something else like CC or Double Edge or whatever, and then Zeraora I would honestly expect Zeraora to get like O-code by banded Double Edge from Staraptor or something like that. That shit would just fold.
Yeah, it would definitely fold.
Like,
Would
no
probably
shot.
get
You
two
don't.
shot by a banded Braybird.
Probably. It's like, yeah, no, not like it's okay sometimes for flangs, but you mostly just want to use the revenge kill. You're not switching that shit in.
Yeah, it's just overall.
Mm-hmm.
But your team is like it's pretty solid though.
Oh yeah, quite
Like
good team. I'd say.
a lot of your mons can run offensive sets.
I'd say defensively, it could definitely be a little bit carried by Mega Scizor for sure, because you're
Yeah,
relying on it to
Mega City
tank
Tangrowth
knockoff
and
for like
Slowking.
everything. Mm-hmm. Like all your other defensive mons don't like knockoff, but at least you have Mega Scizor, right? Like that's the saving grace there. You have Mega Scizor, and that can take knockoff and then pivot into other good mons.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on to fourth. But before we move on, I just want to say that this is like I think there's a tier break from fourth to one. Like I think all the teams that are like above here is like the top tier teams.
Mm-hmm.
So number 4 we have Davey, which is again in the call with me. He did the PRs with me, so I'll take this one away. Well, basically, like I mean, you probably heard this like a million times already that this is a Ninja Chicken draft, and it is. Like you draft like all the mons that he does, Celesteela, Komodo, Swampert. He drafts every time. It's a good core, right? There's a reason why it's a good why he does it because it's just a good core that works well. And again, you asked me like I think we were at like the 4th pick. You were like, okay, what should I do to like help my draft? And I was like, get a breaker, and then you draft Zapdos Galera, and it just like yeah, there you go. There's your breaker because Zapdos Galera is fucking crazy. So it's just overall, this is just a huge, good balanced draft. It has a bunch. It has removal, right? It's not the best removal, I will say. Like it's literally just Mega Blastoise and Talonflame, which isn't that great. But you can like set up rocks. You have hazards. You have sticky webs even, which is fantastic because you know the thing with sticky webs is that you want to defog them away. But if you predict a defog and go into Zapdos Galera, you're literally just gonna fucking destroy something.
Yeah,
That's just like so you have like the best hazard to have with a Defiant Mon. And that's really good. And also there's a lot of teams that are actually weak to Galvantula because that one is low key underrated. Like we've already discussed this a little bit, but there are teams that are literally weak to Galvantula. And that's really funny to me. But yeah, you have no normal type, so Ghost could be a problem because you're only switching a Cerwood. So like stuff like Dragapult can be a problem, even though you have Sylveon, but like it's just choice specs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just gonna move on.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
3rd, we have Brian. Brian. All right.
Yeah, this team, I don't know. I think I said it when we initially made PRs, but I don't really find flaws with this. I
No,
don't think
there are
it's
very few
big.
flaws.
The only real problem is the last 3 picks, a bit of a waste of points, but there's so few points between them that it doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, like your top 8 is good, right? Because Hitmonlee can do things in terrain, right? It's like an option that you have. So, but the last few are like kind of like Version don't see the point of Minior. But like the rest,
Yeah, the
It's-
rest of this draft is like
it's
crap.
really good. With the Garchomp, you have the speedsters, you have everything. Your mic is like fucking up, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah. I just gotta let you know so you can like fix it. But you're good now.
All right, nice. Yeah, no, this team doesn't really lack anything. Decent speed tiers, maybe something a bit faster than Gengar could be good, but again, Hitmonlee. So Hitmonlee in terrain fixes that issue. Other than that, like super bulky team, switch like can pivot pretty easily. Like, yeah, no, this team is just doesn't really have flaws, honestly.
Yeah, that's
Like the
wallet,
biggest
right?
issue, the biggest issue is like I don't know. You could say the hazard game isn't the best, but a lot of the drafts don't have a very good hazard game, as we've already pointed out. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
like Skarmory is really good at hazards though.
Oh god, yeah, Skarmory's insane. Skarmory on its own does a lot of work for hazards.
Yeah.
The biggest issue, arguably, like I guess, is that you might be reliant on it to click defog, but you do have Rotom Wash anyway.
Yeah,
So
you do have Rotom Wash,
that
and you have like you even have Kamala, right, for the normal spin that you might bring one game or two.
yeah. Plus, this team isn't really hazard weak anyway.
Yeah, it
Like,
really isn't.
you got Mega Venu for Toxic Spikes. You don't really care about webs. You have like only one Rock Sweep Mon that you're realistically gonna bring. Don't really care about spikes that much. Like, yeah, no, this team isn't really hazard weak at all anyway. So, mm,
Yeah, Stealth Rocks are just sort of annoying,
mm-hmm. Like the
but yeah,
worst hazard is webs, but there are very few teams with webs anyway. So,
yeah, you have like again like there are very few things to like bad things to point out about this, right?
yeah.
So it's just honestly just like good job, and we're just gonna move
Mm,
on to second because this video is
yep.
getting a bit long.
Yeah. True.
It's already an hour and 20 minutes.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. So second place is of course goes to Steven. And I just want to
Mm-hmm.
say you need to give me Mandibus. I think your team would be a lot better if you gave me Mandibus. I just want to say that.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Just drop like one of the best pieces on this draft.
Yeah, just give it to me.
Nah, for real though, this draft, like, I don't know. The biggest like thing with it is obviously like I don't know why there's a Rabombi. That's like the one thing that's bad. Why is there a Rabombi?
Yeah, you don't need webs. Your team is not webs.
This team this team doesn't need webs whatsoever. You have a fucking Dragapult, man. Like, you don't need webs. You really don't need it that badly.
Yeah, so
Other than
honestly,
that,
get rid of
like,
Bombi.
replace Rabombi with something that's more valuable for the points. And other than that, yeah, I don't know. There isn't really a flaw with this either.
Yeah,
Pretty good pivoting. Keldeo, Serena, Mandibuzz, Raikou, Dragapult, like decent pivoting, decent breakers.
yeah, you got
Like
good
obviously
options, like
Keldeo,
everything,
Crow.
right? Like
Mm-hmm. Like
good defense, right? Like even though like
Mandibuzz and
you have
Heatran on their own are really
yeah,
annoying.
you go.
I was just saying Mandibuzz and Heatran on their own are pretty strong. Like, you don't even need much else.
Yeah, like they're so strong. Like
Mm-hmm.
oh god, this draft's annoying. But I do want to say,
Mm-hmm.
don't bring Electric ever. Don't bring that to a game. If you're wondering why you lost and that thing is on the field, well, there you know.
Yeah. Like, obviously, you don't really want to bring Wartortle either, but I don't know. Like, at least for Wartortle, you can argue that there might be one matchup ever where it's like, okay, kind of decent, but you have way better options on this draft anyway that will do everything that one can do, but better. So you
Yeah,
don't need to bring that either.
yeah. So just don't bring them ever. I would honestly just drop War Turtle, Electric, and Rubombi for one better one.
Mm-hmm. Slowbro Galaros doesn't really do much for this, but,
But yeah, you like them one, so we respect it.
you know, Mon you like, it's not exactly, like, a terrible pick here. It kind of works. Because, yeah. Form's a little bit of a regen card before you Mega the Audino.
Yeah, true. Which you're never gonna do.
No. Of course not.
So yeah, we're
Yeah.
just gonna say move on and just
Mm-hmm.
go on to first. At first,
Mm-hmm.
we have Charles.